The Bengals might have won the AFC last season, but they're facing plenty of doubters. I'm going to respond to one of them right now. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com, and look, the Bengals, they finished 10-7 last year. They won the AFC North for the first time since 2015. Then they won 3 straight playoff games, including 2 road games, to win the AFC for the first time since 1988. The first time in my lifetime that I've seen that. And yeah, they came up short in Super Bowl 56, but the Bengals, well, they surprised a lot of people. And when you surprise a lot of people and you exceed expectations, naturally there's doubters that you can do it again. And that's the fun part for me, because this Bengals team is different than these quick teams that just got lucky, right, and just made it to the Super Bowl and it's a one-off. I don't think the Bengals are that, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. But first, I want you to hear from a national host who, a former number 1 overall pick, who was talking about Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Burrow, in the Bengals. Keyshawn Johnson, he's not buying Bengal stock. He's selling it, and he doesn't think that the Bengals are one of the top teams in the AFC conference. Here's what Keyshawn had to say about the Bengals' magical ride.
The ball bounced perfectly for them. Let's be honest with each other. There was probably about 4 to 5 games throughout the regular season that could have swung either way for them, and it swung on their side. Then you get into the playoffs. That Las Vegas Raider playoff game could have very easily gone their way. And people say, well, how could you say that? They went to the AFC Championship. They beat Kansas City. Oh, my God, they took care of business, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but every now and then you get on a little magical ride and you become the Cinderella story. And everybody likes Joe Burrow because he wore the chain and he's got some swag to him. And we put a lot of yeast on that sort of stuff. But let's be honest. Let's see now where these defensive coordinators across the league, they have a different book on you now. You have more film out there. They've had all offseason. You know, those older statement defensive coordinators with a little bit of dandruff on their shoulders with the gray hair that's been around for a while. They're studying from January to whenever they play them about the Cincinnati Bengals. That's just the reality of it.
I got to clap for Keyshawn. I really do, because he is right about something. It was a magical ride. There's no denying it that the 2021 Bengals, they had some luck on their side, right? The ball bounced their way in certain instances. I think the Raiders game is the worst example of that, because despite a 30-plus year playoff drought, the Bengals were in control of that game from start to finish, and it would have been absolutely stunning if they even went to overtime in that game, and obviously they didn't. Jermaine Pratt, playoff P, handled business there and was able to intercept Derek Carr near the goal line. But probably the worst example, to be honest with you, Keyshawn. You could have used the Titans game. You could have used the Chiefs game when they won the AFC North. You could have used a bunch of different games. Obviously, the second Chiefs game when they trailed 21-3. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The Raiders game, let's be honest, they were clearly the better team. But I digress. It's okay. Because the Bengals ride was magical. It was. The 2021 season was magical. They were not supposed to be there. I'm comfortable saying that. No doubt about it. There was no one a year ago saying that the Bengals were going to make a Super Bowl run in 2021. I certainly didn't. I picked them to go 8-9, and they were 2 games better and then won 3 in the postseason. And so, magical. The difference with the Bengals and these other teams, though, that have gone on magical rides is that they were ahead of schedule. The Bengals, right now is when they're hitting their stride, their prime, and it's why they're better. And let's not even bring up the offseason additions yet. Joe Burrow is not coming off of knee reconstruction surgery where he spent all offseason rehabbing. He's refining his game. Ja'Marr Chase didn't just take a year off waiting for the NFL draft like he did in 2020. He played and had 1,455 yards, dominated Jalen Ramsey in the Super Bowl and is clearly one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he's only getting better. Yeah, they have guys that are nicked up. T. Higgins had shoulder surgery. Logan Wilson had shoulder surgery, those things. But those guys are going to be back. Nothing that's expected to keep them out for week 1 or for most of training camp. So when I combined all of that together, and they didn't really lose anyone. Yeah, Larry Ogunjobi on defense, CJ Uzomah on offense. But they bring in pieces to address their biggest weakness on the offensive line. And this Bengals team is not just a little better than they were last year, because they were a flawed team. They won despite Joe Burrow getting sacked 70 times. That's insane. It's ridiculous. It's whatever word you want to use to describe it. It shouldn't have happened necessarily. And I get that part of it, but that's fixed, at least to a degree. Right? Maybe the offensive line isn't great, but I think they're good. I think they're top 15 in the league. Right? Lyle Collins and Alex Kappa and Ted Karras. And yeah, if it's Jackson Carman, if that's the weak link, then you can deal with it. And I think Jonah Williams, who has a healthy offseason for the first time in how long, is going to make strides at left tackle as well. The point is this. This Bengals team is different than those magic carpet ride teams that you're talking about. Because they were young and I don't want to call them dumb, but you get the phrase. They were young and dumb last year. They were snot-nosed pups that didn't know what they didn't know. Now they know it. And so that's why last year during the playoffs, we had this topic in conversation a couple times. House money. Is it house money? Is it house money? I don't know about that. And even at the time, because it's just so hard to get to the Super Bowl, I never considered it house money. But damn it was close. This is the year that the Bengals are supposed to make the run. When Joe Burrow got drafted, did you think that 2020 was their playoff run? You were hoping that 2021 they would go to the playoffs, that they'd show some improvement as his rookie season, and in 2021 they'd go to the playoffs. 2022 would be the year that they make the real push. Well, they made the real push last year and got this close. And then they added pieces that address their biggest weakness. They might have gotten better at tight end, certainly more explosive. Like this idea that the Bengals aren't better. I know there are teams in the AFC that are better, but the Bengals are one of them. And they have a quarterback that is ascending, not descending. He's not 38, he's 25. And that's the part of it, right? We heard him on that Full Send podcast. Joe Burrow works out 4 times a week. He runs 4 times a week. He does something physically with his body from a workout or training element every single day. Dude's a freak. All he does is think about football. Football and video games here and there. That's what I think he does. And so you're telling me that he's not going to be better this offseason and get better this offseason for 2022? Burrow's better. Chase is better. Higgins, hell, he was talking with Dan Horde, thinks he might have grown. People think he might have grown, which is insane. Regardless, this team is going to be better in 2022 than it was in 2021. And this idea that it was this magical fairy carpet ride, yeah, they had some stuff go their way. Every team that wins the Super Bowl has stuff go their way. Tom Brady, who I'm a huge fan of, as you could tell, I have a picture of him right here. You know how many things have went his way during Super Bowls, right? The Malcolm Butler interception is a big one. But we could go all the way back to that first Super Bowl with the Rams, or against the Rams. Second Super Bowl. All right, third Super Bowl. I mean, the Panthers and Eagles, and things went his way. And things have to go your way if you're going to have that type of success. The other thing I want to hit on is Zach Taylor. Every year Zach Taylor has been here, he's gotten better. And I was very critical of Zach Taylor those first couple of years, even critical of him in key moments last season. But he's shown development each and every year. That's what we want from our young players. It's also what you want from your young coaches. And he is a young head coach, but he's going into year 4 now. And I think Zach Taylor, as a play caller, as a head coach, is better now than he was last year or the year prior or the year prior. So this Bengals team, they're improved, they're better. It's not going to be easy. And I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. But this idea that the 2021 Bengals was a one-off, was a magical fairy tale Aladdin carpet ride that went off into the sunset. No. It was the start. And any logical mind will tell you that when you look at 25-year-old Joe Burrow, 22-year-old Jamar Chase, 23-year-old T. Higgins, 27-year-old Tyler Boyd. And the list goes on and on and on. And I could go to the defense, a lot of those guys in their prime, under contract, all of those things. Point is, Keyshawn, I get it. I understand it. It's easy to say, the Bengals, they got lucky. They're not even a top team, or not even the second best team, not even the third best team in the AFC. All right. Doubt them at your own peril, man, because they're different than a lot of these magical fairy tale teams that lucked out and got to the Super Bowl one year. They're reaching their prime now, and they were ahead of schedule last year. And another playoff run, well, it would be right on schedule this season. That's going to do it here today on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. For Andrew Fox Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien. Make sure you check out allbengals.com. Get to rivertowninquiry.com for the best shirts in Cincinnati. And until next time, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.